I think we now have our second guest on the line. If you're there, Dr. Bayero Agabi, you're welcome to Business Express.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, so Mr. Agabi joins us via Zoom from Lagos. You're welcome
Thank
to
you.
Business Express.
Thank you.
All right, sir. We are talking about the 50% tariff hike by NCC. What's your take on this? How do you think the 50% hike will affect individuals and businesses?
Okay. First, we have to take a look at it, in three phases or in three lines. First, we take a look at the background. Um, why? How did we get here? We got here because fuel was increased, subsidy was removed, and then the naira was floated. Then you now take a look at the justification, before you begin to take a look at the impact. The justifications are very fair enough, has to do with insecurity in the land and the cost of doing business within the telecom sector. Everything is dollar based, is dollar denominated, whether the equipment, the experts you have to bring in, and all of the softwares you have to use, everything is dollar denominated and is dollar based. So if there's any inflation or challenge in the naira to the dollar and everything, it will affect the telecom operations or operators directly. And then you also take a look at insecurity in the land. So because of the insecurity and then infrastructure. So for the telecom operators to operate at the way they have been operating, most of them will have to have a generator to back up the public supply, and then have a backup to the backup of the backup, and then have another backup to the backup of the backup of the backup. That is the solar. That for some of them, I will have to go green and all that. So those are the justification. If you listen to these lines, you want to agree that it is perfect, it is okay, because every other sector, the prices for everything and commodity services in every other sector has also increased. So why would you say it is not justified for them to increase, their prices and all of that? But let us take a look at the implications. The implications, are vast. They are vast. And that is where I think the government really need to come in. The implication has to do with even banking services will be impacted. If I have to transfer money to you right now, the cost will change. Okay? So there's what I also call the social media economy. Social media is not just about dancing and looking at beautiful pictures, but there's an economy within. That economy is that people or young people are able to log in, stay online, innovate, create, businesses, and also employ other people. So if you make it much more expensive and difficult for them to even go online or stay online, then the rate of innovation and creativity that come from that space will be reduced. And then you also take a look at I have spoken about banking transactions. Then you're now talking about security. So once people are out of job, what happens is that they go to the other side. They begin to use the brain or innovations that they have to do other things. So those are the implications, and the implications are huge. The implications are huge. And even the cost of data, like he said, the first guest said, he broke them down in a way that they were very appropriate. But I think that taking a look at the implications, of all of these things, I think there's a role that government can play. And then, let us not say that this thing is coming at a time that other countries like France, Greece, Poland, You know, these are countries in Europe, as so many other, Europe, they have seen access to the internet as a fundamental right of the citizens.
All right, with digital
Okay.
transactions, online businesses, and fintech services heavily reliant on telecoms, how will this increase affect Nigeria's digital economy?
Yeah. Okay, let me put it this way. Your digital transformation has to do with that those with the capacity, I mean, financial capacity, and then the innovative ideas are able to live online at a cost that they can afford. Okay. But at this point, you are now making it difficult for them to even log on or live online. That reduces the pace at which we were growing in terms of the digital economy sphere. So the digital transformation trail will be slowed down because participation will also be lowered. And the gains that will come from the digital transformation that we had or we have will also be slowed down. So, and then also, most educational, that we see today, most of them have gone online. A lot of people stay home now and they have their education.
All right,
With
briefly,
this
sir.
kind of, yes, with this kind of restriction or heightened in prices or tariff, what's going to happen is that a lot of people are not going to be able to, have access to online education. So
All right.
they
Many
now have.
organized bodies like NLCs currently protesting the tariff hike, proposing a 5% hike. Do you think it's a more reasonable solution or a superficial fix on a bigger problem?
No, it is not. It is not reasonable. I think NLC should devise a new method. Going on strike will not solve anything. It will not shake anything. It will not do anything. They missed it at the very, very point. There was an opportunity for them when uh, when fuel price was increased. Without dialogue with the NLC or the labor union. That is the point that they ought to have taken the government on. At the
All
other
right.
time, and the other opportunity they had was when the naira was floated, they ought to have taken the government on. But they were fighting for their pockets. So they got money in terms of minimum wage as money for their pocket. So
All
when you
right.
get more money into your pocket, what happened is that the price of everything is going to go up. So even if they had gotten 1 million naira per month, the price of bread would have gone up to 20,000 naira. So
It's all
what they
right.
are trying
Thank you
to do
very
now
much.
is
Thank
afterthought. For
you.
me, it's not the right thing to do. So what they should do is to negotiate with the government, maybe to have it at maybe a lower price.
All
The
right.
tariff should come down
Thank
to
you
a
very
lower price.
much.
So there must be high tariff,
I'm afraid we have
a
to let
higher
you go,
tariff, I guess.
Dr. Bayero Agabi. Thank you very much for joining us on the program. And you too, Dr. Aliu Elias. Thank you very much. Moving on, global stock steadied on Friday